In this video, I'm gonna cover not only the perfect technique, or the technique I believe, and I already tested hundreds of times, that I know for sure that will work for you, but also how you move to do the approach, and also small details that sometimes or I don't listen them often, but will help you a lot to develop a really good slice. You have a consistent backhand slice and will create much more difficulties to your opponent, and then you will have a chance in the next ball to dominate with your forehand, because in the end is one of the goals of the slice, not only to change the rhythms, to lower the ball, but also to create an opportunity to attack the ball in the next shot with your forehand. So basically, when you start learning the slice, of course, the grip is the first thing that you should know, of course. That basically you need to imagine you shake hands to the racket. And what I usually say is not to do continental, is to go a little bit more to your right, a little bit over, not too much, just like a little bit on the racket, on the top of the racket like this, okay? And instead of closing your hand too much, because here you don't have any feeling, or even not even saying to have this finger out, always in the racket. And instead of closing, just open more, spread more your fingers along the grip, and the hand a little bit more on top instead of continental, just a little bit more here. And here you will have a much better feeling, and it's going to be easier to have a perfect slice, to have better feeling on the ball, and you will see a huge difference. So this is the first point to start. Remember your fingers like that. This is enough already to have a really good slice. Then, of course, you can start with some drills that I'm going to talk in the next video, but for now I'm just going to focus on the basic technique and basic footwork. So when you start slice, you can start even in the mini tennis line or service line, but I will start from here because I think you can also do. If it's too difficult, you can do exactly the same from the service line, and you are ready to improve faster because you get more confidence and more balls in. Remember, when you try to do the slice, many times you will hit the ball in the frame here. Many times you will miss because you'll cut it so much that the ball even bounces before the net. Just keep going, do these steps, and you will be fine, just fine, because I really, I'm gonna say again, did that hundreds of times and always works. So also to remind you, if you already did the footwork and you watch my videos for the forehand, the footwork for the backhand slice is exactly the same, with the exception that I really recommend, if you are starting, to always go with closed stance instead of trying to do a slice with open stance, because it's going to be much more difficult for you, because this leg needs to have more power here before you hit the slice. In open stance, you don't use it so often, so more often you do this, and then you hit the slice, and then you recover. And the first step to start, of course, is the split step. Again, the split step with a wide position, one racket here, on your toes, here, not with flat foot. And after the split step, you always do this step here. And it's here that I want you to focus. So you should do this first step here, and then rotate your shoulders and keep the racket in this position here. So you do split step, one, okay? And if you have the coach there or someone feeding the ball to you, always this position, racket on your shoulder here, and this hand supports here on the racket. I always like to do this, 1, 1, 3, like that. It's easier to manage the racket. Some players have the hand here, no fingers on the top. I like to have it here, but you can choose this or this as you prefer, or as is more comfortable to you, but this position here. And then what I also recommend is to have a relaxed position here. Usually I go with the racket a little bit more up. You can be relaxed if you want, but this position you should always be, so you always stop in this split step, 1. You stop, make sure you are in this position, and then you do the same footwork as you do to the forehand. Someone feeds the ball to you, and you can just do from here. You do 2, someone feeds the ball, and you hit and you stay, okay? And because you are not moving forward, for now it's not the priority, you just play and you stay with the feet like that and with this foot like that, okay? So you hit it and you stay, and the racket is not going here because you are not moving your legs, and because you are not going with your body weight against the ball for now. You are just focusing on the main aspects, and the priority is just to be here, to play and stay, this, okay? And stay with the racket straight. You can even do the drill where you can hit the slice. I'll show you with another ball. You hit the slice, and then in the end, we put the ball here on the racket, okay? This is a really easy drill, and you can do it. And what I usually like to ask for other players is to focusing on the ending. And if you see my slice, I always go a little bit more up with the racket. And this way, I guarantee 2 things. First, that you really gonna brush the ball a lot, gonna do this slice a lot, Okay, second is that you at least finish with racket straight. Because if I ask you to finish with racket like this, what is gonna happen to you, because I know this for sure, is that you're gonna finish with racket like this. Okay, another thing is to relax when you are here. Really relax, and the racket just stop here. Okay, you don't have tension, you just accelerate here. Okay, the slice is not a movement that you need to do it slower or with a lot of tension. You can really actually accelerate here, because I missed this ball. What you want is the ball to bounce and to go fast and lower. Okay, so this is the first step. Then the second step, what we do is the second footwork, 1, 2, and then double step, and you play and you stay, okay? And then the third, usually the coach feeds the ball a little bit shorter for you to feel the need to move forward. So we ask you to stay here, but because we feed the ball shorter, you will feel the need to move forward, and then we start to work this footwork, and then recover, 1, 2, split step. So basically do 1, 2, double step, 1, 2, and then you recover, 1, 2, split step. And when you do this, and when you move forward, okay, your racket is going here, but because you move your body, so you are here, and because this leg is going like this, okay, you end up moving the racket. But what I see many players do is this, okay, and this, you lose the balance, you lose the control, you will not be efficient, so I really don't recommend this. Just here, clean, and if you need to move, you move. Once you do this footwork, you just move to the side and you do exactly the same. I'm gonna show you the final version, that is split step, 1, first position here, and then you move, 2, 3, 4, for example, you play, okay, and then you recover, 1, 2, split step. If you are beginner, and you wanna do the step from 0, you do 1 here, 2, 3, 4, play and stay, okay, and then the next step, you play, and you do this. I actually lost my voice because I was sick for the past 6-7 days. I couldn't record much, so now I'm gonna record, gonna work out, and gonna play a bit of tennis because I already missed. I feel like 60-70%, so I think is enough. So I'm gonna repeat again. You do the first position, split step. Sorry, split step here. 1 step, stop in this position with your hand. You go, okay, 1, 2. Notice how is my racket in the end, and then recover. 1, 2, split step. If I can really suggest to you, I really recommend to do this because I have more results with my students when they finish like that. If you want to go more traditional way, you can finish with the racket straight. Remember, you can put the ball here, but if you test like that, you will have much more results and you will enjoy tennis much more. And basically, slice is this simple. You don't need to complicate so much. Of course, you need to be lower because when you do the slice, you do the split step, you need to be lower, okay? And one of the things I always like to say also for my players is always to bend this knee here, okay? To go like that, to use really a lot your legs. And if you are beginner, what I never say or I never work slice if you are too beginner or too young because you become a little bit lazy. I always say this word, but it's true because when you start to learn the slice, instead of reaching the ball with your legs, you can see, oh, I can reach there just by stretching a bit more my hand and I move less, or the ball is a little bit lower. Instead of going with the backhand like that, you say, oh, I can just do this and play a slice. So usually I don't work. I work the foundation of your game, the forehand, the backhand, the volley, the smash, the serve, approach, and only after I go to the slice. And of course, when you work the slice, it's gonna be good because you're gonna have more feelings and you start to develop another or different shots. And once you develop 1, 2, 3, 4 different shots, you start to improve all your game because you have more touch with tennis, you have more feelings, you start to get more confidence, you have more options, and in the end, it's gonna result in a better tennis, better level, and yeah, that's the goal. I think this is really, really simple. You don't need to complicate so much. Then, of course, you have different slices. For example, you have the slice when you want the ball deeper, so you go like that, okay, because you want the ball deeper. But if you want the ball, for example, shorter, you already do this movement like that, and the ball is gonna be a little bit shorter, okay, like that. And also, you can do the slice a little bit more inside of the body or from here, where the ball is gonna bounce and have this this side spin, basically. So this, and also is a great option, and is gonna mix a little bit the feeling of your opponent, because you never know what you can do, and you can do this at any moment, or you can just pretend that you're gonna do the slice and then do drop shot also. So it's always a great option, but if you are starting, just focus on this, okay? And also, once you play better, sometimes you even do slices starting here, but in the beginning, I really recommend to start here. And as you know, or if you follow, or if you're just watching this video for the first time, you don't know, but if you watch all my content and other videos, you always know that I always like to suggest to stop in the first position, stop in the end, in the beginning, just because you need to create a new pattern. But once you get better, once you start to play faster, move faster, footwork becomes more dynamic, you don't have time to stop, you don't have time to be everything perfect, only in the beginning. And then tennis is much more than technique. So in the beginning, I really recommend to do this. Also, when you are alone, playing with friends, you can do this, and you will remember, oh, I need to do the first position and then go. And later, you can, of course, do this. Also, if the ball is lower, sometimes, sorry, it's easier to do this. So don't start like that just because you see me, for example, doing slices like this. Start with the foundation, start with the basics, and then you can progress and you can go to another techniques or change a little bit. And that, I think, is what I really recommend, not I think, I really recommend to do that for you. You will see better results, and I hope this helps. If you have any questions or any doubt about this, let me know. Also, just to know that the next video, I'm gonna share 3 drills that you can do alone, and it's gonna improve a lot your slice. I use them a lot, and I enjoy doing that even if I don't need to work the slice. So I hope you enjoy, I hope you subscribe and put the alert for the next video. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.